And we're off. So welcome. This is the second Nan Talk I've done. It's on relationships today. Okay, and everyone, yeah, I know, faces. Oh no! It's funny, we're all women here. I was hoping to have a few men here, just basically to say, oh yeah, women, what are they like? But
we had two lots.
Yeah, we did, and we haven't today for some reason, so...
You want me to go out and try filling up the street?
Now this would be really good, wouldn't it? And you can sort of, yeah, just sit them in a hot chair, and we can all talk to them. Yeah, so what is a relationship? In the dictionary it says it's being connected with two or more people, and that's all it is to it. But we all need relationships. As human beings, we're pack animals, and we all need relationships. Relationships feed us, or they don't. And when they don't is what we're here for to talk about. It's all very well and it's all working well and everything's honky-dory and you've got what you want from your relationship. That's fine. But when you get family, and you get friends, especially family and friends, I don't know if I'm looking at you over there, but thinking family, we get frustrations, we get disappointments, we get that stimulus that causes some reaction inside ourselves. And we all know about that. Every single person in this room has some reaction to either family or friends who have put you in a position where you are not feeling comfortable with your feelings. Okay? Now that might feel like a bad thing, but tonight we're going to be talking about how we can move that round, how we can change it, so that we can get the best out of that situation, even if it's something we don't want. You know, the situation, we don't want those feelings. Nobody wants to feel bad. But we can actually develop ourselves from those feelings, okay? So, I mean, we've got things like, we've got mother, father. Mother's usually nurturing. Some of us haven't had that nurturing, some of us have. Those are formulating our feelings from a very young age. How we feel about ourselves is determined by that experience being with a mother. And if you've had a good relationship, well, that's great. But even if you did, or you didn't, there's always going to be some bits in that relationship where you think, oh, I'm not sure about that bit. I don't want to be that. And quite a few people, especially all you women here, and if you've got children, you want to be better. Even if you love your mum, you want to be better parent. You want to be a better mother. You want to do this and this and this. Even if you love that person and respect them and you're close to them. I was very close to my mother. But I still chose to do things differently. And that's because you have to develop your own character while you're growing up through that experience of another woman in your life. And that's apparently mother and daughter is the most intense relationship you can have. And if you think about that, it really is. It stirs up a lot of feelings, okay? I call it orange juice. If you squeeze an orange, this is a Wayne Dyer story, if you squeeze an orange, all you get is orange juice because that's what's inside. Doesn't matter who squeezes it, it's always going to be orange juice. Well, if you take that metaphor up to yourself, doesn't matter what life experiences squeezes a reaction out of you. It is not actually he, she, they or that that's caused that reaction. It has always been laying dormant. And all that person or that situation has done has squeezed a feeling out of us. And we feel angry, sad, unhappy. That person's made me feel this. But in actual fact, if you think about it, it's always been laying in there, you know? And we need to be actually using that experience. Because as you feel a reaction to somebody on the outside of you, without getting in your own way here, without saying, well, that's because they're like this and she's like that and he treats me this way, instead of having all those reactions, if you just had a reaction of, oh, that's interesting, what am I feeling? Why am I angry? Why am I upset with that? Why is it making me feel this? And that is an opportunity for you to give the opposite of that feeling to yourself. It's always been in there. This is a chance to clean up our own orange juice. So mothers are the greatest squeezing of orange juice experience you can have. It's something you can think, oh, this makes me feel, and don't talk about that. And I see a lot of women who love their parents, but as I say, have reactions to how they're brought up or how they feel around them. Okay, their personalities. So you're trying to develop yourself as a person through your childhood. And up to about 6 is when you're actually copying your parent. So if you're a woman, if you're a girl, you're copying your parent up to about 6, you develop your own character. Okay? If you're a boy up to about 6, he's still copying the mother, and then he crosses a bridge over to act like his dad. And that's when they have problems, because they're going to headbutt, you know, and that's quite common. So you see, the problem with that is that you are going to react against them and not understand it. And once you understand it, it doesn't have any power over you. Okay? It's just an orange juice squeezer, that's all. And once you start to recognise it, reform it, I'm going to give the opposite to myself. And I'll talk about this later with you to describe how it works or why it works. So you've got mum and dad. If you're lucky, you've got nurturing or protection. Daddy might protect you. I didn't have a dad, so I didn't have that feeling. Of course, that has a knock-on effect when you're older. And we're all competent adults here, but that feeling inside you, like a little girl feeling of, well, there's no daddy, that can have an effect as well. Or if your dad might not have been what you want him to be. That's another issue. So you see, those things are hidden underneath the subconscious. We're talking with 3% of our consciousness. And 97% is subconscious. Now that is quite a large amount of subconscious. And all those feelings that you feel when you're growing up is stored in your subconscious. So it's a bit like having a pool, okay? And you've got clear water and you've got fish in it and you can see right down to the bottom. And you think you've got clear water until someone gets a stick. In it goes, stirs it round, and all the muck from the bottom of the pond comes to the top. And you think, where did all that come from? That's always been in there, just like the orange juice. We have to be aware of what stimulus is causing our reactions, so we can change it. We can change it in ourselves, and therefore change what we attract into our lives, and what we think we deserve. And that's another issue. So we've got siblings, we've got sisters, brothers. Competition time. How many's got brothers and sisters here? Yeah? You've all got them? Yeah, I've got a brother, I don't see him, but yeah. So, okay, when you're growing up with those people, it's difficult because you've got to find your way. You've got to stand strong, you've got to be yourself and develop yourself inside that. Twins have the problem of trying to find that.
Identical mirror twins we are.
You have?
Yeah.
And you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So one might become more dominant.
Yeah.
Yeah? Which one are you?
I was the quiet one.
Oh. Well, did you find it helped when you weren't together? When you were separated somehow? As you're older, you do different things. Did you find that you carried on developing yourself? Or because you're not quite now. You're really confident now.
Yeah.
I think So you've developed that inside yourself. Sometimes when we're in a close family relationship, we let that other person take the lead. And when we're away from that person, sometimes we just become more. Okay, it's a bit like having, this is especially true if you've got a partner. Imagine a flower pot. And at first you've got your partner, it's like 2 seeds in a pot. And there you are, cosy and comfortable in a pot together. And you watch each other grow, up you go, and you're growing into beautiful flowers. But the pot is becoming pot-bound. And as the flowers grow, you get suffocated, you can't be yourself. Somehow you're compromised. And what we really need is to have a separate pot. We have 2 pots with 2 flowers side by side so that they can grow into who they have to be at their own level, at their own timing. So there they are, growing together, supporting each other, but not suffocating each other. Sometimes partners, we're not meaning to, it becomes codependent. It's not something we're even aware of. We're actually encouraged to be in one pot. You know, and what we've really got to do is be a little bit more aware of our needs to make that relationship work. And if we can become more aware of ourselves and to value ourselves, then that's where the growth is, and that's where the truth is, and that's how you become healthy and thrive and breathe in your relationships. Otherwise, you become compromised and lose yourself. We'll be talking more about that on the next session and how to gain back your power, but today is all about how you feel about you and what your needs are.
Nancy, my mum's twin, her twin brother died at birth, so he never came out of the hospital. My mum never ever made a close chum friend, you know, like a girlfriend. She was very independent. She never ever had a girl friend to go shopping with or whatever. She did everything on her own, and I read somewhere, I don't know if it's true, because it was a long time ago, that if you're always missing that twin.
Yeah.
You know, that was her friend, although she never formed that they were in the womb together.
Yeah.
But, and you know.
Well, my sister died at birth, and I felt exactly the same way. So you're always looking for that. I've been looking for a sister all my life. I've been looking for a best friend that was a sister. I have got one now, but all my life I've been looking for something I knew was part of me. But being a twin is even more intense. Mm. Yeah, definitely.
You don't have a choice as such.
You don't have a choice. Well, there's another
when
story.
you split in.
Oh yeah.
And you've got that interaction your whole life. You've never been on your own. Really? And it's not surprising.
Exactly.
So it's up health-wise on each other.
Yeah, exactly. It's lovely. It's got its good points, hasn't it? But it's also got its compromises, hasn't it?
It's funny that you were saying about the pot, because I've got a pot garden because I live on a boat, and a few weeks ago, towards kind of the end of the summer, I was sitting in my big kitchen just looking at my pot garden, and I was given quite a lot of nice plants this summer that needed repotting.
Yeah.
So I repotted them, and I was just sitting in my kitchen looking at them, and this phrase just came to me. It really did. If you have a big enough pot, you can grow to be anything you need to be. And I think I wrote it down in my little book of kind of thoughts.
Perfect.
It just came to me.
Perfect.
If you've got a big enough pot.
And most of us don't have a big enough pot to start with. We often don't think we deserve it.
No.
Or we maybe get taught that we don't deserve it. Or maybe someone tells us we don't deserve it. Or they somehow put us down so they can feel better. You know, I was talking to somebody about this today. It's only about recognising that you don't have to be allowing anyone to do that to you. And I've had it all my life. And so I understand how easy it is. And if you're a nice, kind, gentle person, you kind of don't want to think badly of anybody. But it's not making them a bad person to recognise it. It's understanding that they're just different from you. And maybe their self-worth is not as good as it could be. Otherwise they wouldn't have to put you down. You know? Someone said to me once, in one of my ex-relationships, they said, well, this person you were with was a bully. How can that be a mirror to yourself? Because everybody's a mirror to your own personality. Somehow they mirror parts of you. But how can that person be a mirror if he was an abuser, if he was someone who wasn't a nice person? And I said, well, that's simple. He felt he had to bully or put me down or keep me in a small pot, which he did very well for a while, because he had so low self-worth. He had no value for himself. So that's what he had to do. Me, I had no self-worth, so I let him. And it's only when I recognised I needed self-worth that I could change it. That I could look at it properly and think, well, it's not his fault, it's just who he is. It defines him as someone who does that, not as me who deserves it. And that's where the difference was. That's where I understood. Everybody in this room has got an experience of that, hasn't they? Everybody, whether it's your partner or if it's a friend or someone who hasn't really valued you, it doesn't mean that you're not worth valuing. It defines them as people who don't value themselves first and they don't value you second. So it doesn't really hurt as badly when you realise that they're actually feeling far worse about themselves than how they're treating you, but they hide it. So yeah, get yourself a big pot, put a flower in it and own it. Absolutely, do what you've done, because that is a lovely...
I divorced about 15 years ago, so now my pot is my pot.
Yeah, it's funny because when I got divorced, the first thing I did is bought this beautiful flower and put it in a big pot, and I thought it was a tree, and now it's massive, massive. The eucalyptus tree's gone right up to the top, and I thought, yeah, that's how much I've grown too. So it's a nice thing to do to celebrate yourself. I'm not saying this is all about divorce here. We just happen to slide into that bit, but it's when we're not valued is what we're talking about, and that's so easy to do. And sometimes we don't have anyone doing that on the outside. If you're lucky, you might have had a great parenting, you might have had great siblings, good friends, stable life, good life generally. But there's always going to be something that perhaps we compare ourselves maybe to someone, or we think we're not good enough, or we think we failed somehow, or we criticise, or we're quite hard on ourselves. You know, self-judgment's a hard one. And we all have... I was speaking to one woman a little while ago, and she said, I reckon all women are born with shame. No matter what we do, we think it's our fault and we feel bad about it. You know, we think, oh, we could have done that better. But that's not healthy for your body. And that little chakra man symbol thing I've got there, that diagram, shows you in colour form. It's got the red, orange, yellow, green, light blue, dark blue and purple. Some of you will know that that's about chakras. But what I'm trying to tell you is that every feeling and every thought you have has a direct effect on different areas of your body. Last time we talked about safety. And we talked about having to feel safe in changes. And that was all about the base chakra. So anything I taught you last time was about that. To build up that feeling of security. Today, it's building up a feeling of value. That's the orange area. And you look at that area here and you think, funny that, I've had some issues there physically. I bet you there's not one woman here that hasn't. I, for one, had many issues in that area, physical area. An emotional area, I didn't have any value. So you can see the things I'm going to teach you today are things that are going to protect this area from being imbalanced. It's as simple as that. A thought gives you a feeling has an immediate reaction. You don't put poison in your tea and coffee, but we do that with our thoughts when we don't value ourselves, or we have a negative feeling. And it's so easy to do, we don't even recognise it. If you've been doing it for years like I had, it's easy to do without knowing you're doing it. But the biggest clue is how much you seem to attract from the outside of you. So if someone isn't treating you well, that is a big indication that you're not treating you well. You see, people are mirrors to each other. They're actually mirrors. They're just every friend you have that you like. Any friendships, and there's quite a few groups of friends here. If you like that friend, it's because you see something in that friend that you admire, or you like, or you actually feel in tune to. You wouldn't be friends with them otherwise. You're the same vibration. Is that right? You three sitting in the corner there, yeah? Four, sorry. Four. But it doesn't matter how long you've known each other, that vibration is there, you know? And that quality of vibration, you all have something about each other you like.
I'm very impressed with my mirrors today.
Exactly. That's really healthy. Yeah, they're your girls, they're your support. This is what we're looking for as human beings. We're looking for support. We're looking to be in tune with each other and to really feel we can grow in ourselves with that support. We all need love. We all need to feel accepted. And quite often we're too busy comparing ourselves. Take yourself to your teenage times. Those school days maybe. How many times people compare themselves for different reasons? How well they did at school, what they look like, what they dress like. It's so easy to let any of those things affect your self-worth. And it's only once we compare ourselves to other people we actually start to feel that. But if I was to say, going back to the garden thing, garden full of flowers and weeds. And some of the weeds are absolutely beautiful. Look at bluebells and things and buttercups, and aren't they gorgeous? And daisies. All these different flowers are unique and beautiful for what they are. If any of you have got a garden, I bet you know. You look at them and you value each one for that individual beauty. Well, you're all like those flowers. It doesn't matter how tall you are, or how big you are, or how whatever. You're all beautiful and unique. And if you don't compare yourself with the other flower, you'll be okay. But people often compare themselves too often, and well, she's done it better than me, and that person, you know, it's usually other women that feel this. We don't feel the pressure so much from men because we are okay. Well, women, we can just, you know, shine our bright light. But with other women, we are the greatest support, but we're also very worried about criticism or not being accepted or not doing it right or not being there for them. You know, not really being ourselves with them. Some women disappear inside the relationship. So no, we're not doing it anymore. Definitely not. I have to mention it though because it's squeezing out orange juice. What I said earlier, any relationship will do that. But instead of running away from all our relationships, I know some people that go, I'm not having any relationship then. Now you can keep it. Instead of running away, just think to yourself, this is my opportunity to see what I need. And think to yourself, what is it I'm not getting? Now the ones, when I tell most people I'm going to do a relationship workshop or talk, they immediately think of their husbands, their partners, whatever, okay? They don't normally think, oh, it goes right back to when I was a kid. But it is all about, bottom line, is all about how you feel about you. When I say to most people, I'm going to give you a compliment, and they go, oh, I don't know, I've never been able to take compliments, so I'm not good at that. And I used to say it all the time, if someone said something nice about me, I go, yeah, right, they're only trying to be kind, they don't mean it. And if they said, oh, I like what you're wearing, I'd devalue what I was wearing straight away. You know, I've got a few things I'm going to talk to you about, but when someone, I think I want to talk to you about sticks right now. One of the greatest things I developed and found was really useful for my self-worth and for a hormone level, by the way, that area here, governs your hormones. Everything became easier for me once I developed this particular exercise called sticks. You know about that one, Lynn?
Oh, yeah.
I thought, I've known Lynn a long time, I thought she might have recognised it. Well, this is a great reminder. This is a great reminder for you. So, sticks, okay? Every time we criticise ourselves, every time we say, knock ourselves back in any way, or say, look in the mirror and go, God, get a state of that. We've all done it. I've looked in the mirror and go, look at that. How can you go out looking like that? Or, you know, this has gone grown, and I'll give you an example. I was supposed to be doing my hair, but no, I didn't do it. And I could look in the mirror and go, oh, look at the state of that. What would that do to me? That would take down my energy. The Tsurumoto little diagram here shows you, if you want to look him up, you can always take details later, shows you what your body's energy looks like when it's happy. So supposing you looked in the mirror and you think, I really like that dress today, I look really good, or my hair's great, or I've actually done a good job with my friends today, I've looked after them. That's what your energy is going to look like inside. It's going to be happy, like a six-sided shape. It's like a snowflake. That's a frozen image. If you want to look up the pictures on YouTube or something, you can do that. And yes, feel free to write notes. So this, we've got pens and paper here. So this is really just an indication of when we want to feel good, our body's energies are working well. And this is what it looks like. But when we have a negative thought, it's like a microwave meal. That energy just goes right down to a blob-like state. And you feel bad. And it shows as inflammation in your body. So when we criticise ourselves, we're hurting ourselves inside. And we're programming our mind to carry on thinking that way. And by the law of attraction, you are going to attract more of what you're feeling and thinking. You know, everyone had a good day, you think, I'm having a great day, I'm having a really good day. Keeps attracting more good days. But if you wake up in the morning and you say, I'm having a really bad day, the car's broken, lost my job, etc., you're going to keep thinking that's going to be a bad day. You're going to attract more bad days. And we talked about this briefly before. We'll talk about it a lot when we get to the crown chakra, when I go through the different talks. So, good thoughts, this shape, six-sided shape. Bad thoughts, blob-like. And, in particular, it's a bad result in that area. So all of you will have some evidence, if you keep criticising yourself, in this area. Okay? And you'll wonder why. Oh, it's what I'm eating, it's whatever. But no, it's not. It's definitely not. It's partly maybe, but it's that, what you are feeling on the inside. So, sticks. Imagine your inner child. This is a little part of you, kind of the vulnerable part, the little bit inside that goes, I'm not good enough. Or, can I maintain this relationship? Or I'm boring, or, you know, those kind of feelings. Those feelings that when you grow up and you think, you doubt yourself sometimes, here, that's where it is. So you need to be aware that it's like a little inner child of yours. So let's imagine all of us, 6-year-olds, not when you were 6, I don't want any of you going back there, because that's not necessary, we never go back. But we take an image of ourselves, a projection of ourselves. So there's this little 6-year-old. And every time I used to criticise myself, and I was an expert at it, I'd be poking little Nancy with a stick. I'd be saying to her, she's not good enough. And little Nancy had had enough of that. She'd had it all her life. She'd had it in many relationships. Be objective. See yourself for a minute and realise this is where we can work. It's easy for us to work from this point. So, I used to run myself down every day, all the time. And all my friends, and I'd be putting myself down physically, don't know why they're friends with me, I'm boring, I'm this and that, you know. And they used to say to me, why are you doing that? And I say, well, it saves you from doing it. And they used to think, oh, but you mustn't do it. Yeah, I didn't realise at the time I was doing any damage. Now I know, scientifically, physically I know what's going on. I know what it does to me, and I don't do it ever. So this is how I stopped it. I was poking little Nancy with a stick every time I said something critical in my mind or to another person. All I did was say, break the stick in my mind, a little action with your hands, smile at myself and say, it's all right, you're okay. And so when I first started doing this, I broke about 30 sticks a day. And at the end of the day, I said, I'm no good at this. And I thought, that's another stick. And I was thinking, I didn't realise how much I did it until I was mindful about it. And as soon as I continued to break the stick, what I'd done is I'd formed a new pathway in my brain. This is what happens. A new pathway. A thought, a stimulus, with a reaction. Okay, you've got synapses, like electrical synapses. It goes from one point to another. And this forms a pathway, almost like a track. So if you can imagine a train track, and you've got this thought causing that, it's been set for years maybe, okay? We've got to change it. So every time you do this stick thing, you're actually changing the track. It feels a bit like hard work at first because you're having to be mindful of a change. It's effort. But once you change it, once you change that over, you've formed a new pathway. And if you do that for 30 times, you've set it. And this becomes the automatic. You no longer do what you used to do. Now, I talked about this briefly last time about worry. If you keep worrying, you keep doing the same track. I taught you not to worry and form a new track with different things. This is forming a new track in your brain because you're thinking better about yourself. You're valuing yourself. Today is all about value. Okay? So, second day, it was about 25 sticks. Third day, 20, and it went down and down. And then this was a few years ago. So gradually, over a period of weeks, I gradually broke less and less sticks. And I realised, do you know I'm not having a go at me anymore? Well, this makes the change. I felt free, I felt good, I felt happy. My energies were like the diagram, six-sided shape. I felt good, I felt healthier, physically and emotionally healthier. My relationships were better. Even strangers treated me better. But every single person, friends, family, all of them, they all treated me better because I treated me better. So, very, very occasionally, I'll break a stick. It might be because I'm very dyslexic, and when I'm writing things out for people, I'll say, oh, my writing's terrible, or I can't spell. But isn't that a negative? And what does that do? No, break the stick, sorry Nan, it's okay. And that's what I told myself. And I don't break them, hardly ever. But my clients do tell me, my friends tell me, oh, that's a stick. So wouldn't it be a good idea if all of you could say to yourself, first of all, and then get your friends and family to support you. If you hear me saying anything negative, say stick. That's what you say to your friends and family. That goes for all you groups of friends here. If you hear each one of you saying anything at all that's slightly negative or put down to yourself, stick. That gives that person a chance to laugh at themselves. It's light-hearted. Break the stick. You're not going to poke your inner child anymore. She's had enough of it. She's had it through different experiences and she's not having it anymore. And I'm here to speak up for your inner child and she's not having it. So you're going to break the stick. And not even say sorry because it's just not your fault. It's just life. Okay? You're not to blame. Otherwise, blame, what would that do? That would be a negative, wouldn't it? No, it's okay. But you can change it from this point. From this moment onwards, you can draw a line and you can change your life. You can change how people treat you. And you'll notice it. Okay, you'll definitely notice it. So we've got the flower pot story. We've done that. And that's very useful. I wanted to talk to you about what you're not getting or what you expect from another person. Okay? We're going to take this as a relationship in partners. That's probably the most common intimate relationship we're talking about here, okay? But it could be anybody we're talking about. Okay, I mean husband and wife or partners or whatever, okay? So, you want that person to see you, to understand you, to give you love. You want that person to nourish you, to give you happiness and safety and all those good things you want. You want that person to reflect back your value. And when they don't, or if they can't, or if they just don't see it, we feel that we haven't got those things. We feel we don't deserve them, or we haven't got value because they haven't told us. We haven't done a good job because he hasn't said so, or she hasn't said so. And so we suffer on that emotional level. What we need to do is be aware of what we need from that relationship. So, have a think about it right now. You're in a close relationship. What is it you need? You know, you need maybe privacy or space, or you need safety or love or comfort or affection. What do you need? Those are the things that you need to give to yourself. Even if it's a hug, a self-hug. You need to be able to give yourself respect, give yourself value, give yourself attention. If you're not being heard in a relationship, I hear me. If we're not getting something, it's because we're not giving it to ourselves. And that's about us taking responsibility. If you were to make a list of all the things you're not getting, think to yourself, I'm giving it to me. I'm going to take me out on a Friday night. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to travel around the world on my own. Whatever you need to do, do it. If you feel restricted, or you feel, you know where I'm coming from on that, because if you need to be something or do something, and I know some of you here want to be your own person and do your own thing, there's nothing wrong with that. And it doesn't make you selfish, it just makes you self-aware. And when you are happy, not only physically are you happier, but you're giving more to others. Okay? So I always put it, it's a bit like having a cake. They're everything you want, and that's your food, okay? So if you're lucky, you're getting some, the new love or something. You've got everything you want. There it is, this lovely cake. And then somehow the cake disappears or crumbles, or perhaps someone steals your cake. That's your food. That's what you depended upon. Well, if you could take that scenario and you imagine that everything that is the cake, you are. You give the cake. You make the cake yourself. You become your own source of happiness. You become everything. You give yourself what you need from him, her and them. If you could just do that, then you are definitely going to be safe. It will be unconditional love for yourself. Unconditional value. Okay? Unconditional respect. Whatever it is you need from them. So once you make yourself happy, you become your own cake. Now they can be the icing on it. There you go, nice and sweet. And if the icing falls off, it's no big deal, because you still have your cake. And that's the thing we have to do. Now quite often, this dependency on another person to make us happy, no matter what relationship that is a codependent thing, and it's not healthy. It's not safe. It never makes you feel safe. Because you never know if that person's going to run up with someone else, or leave you, or abandon you, or any other thing that happens. You know? Your cake's gone. If you were depending on them being... you go to the baker's, wouldn't you then?
I just have that video on cartoons, where they put the pie on the windowsill.
Oh yeah, and the cat got it.
Down and the chubby comes.
Yeah, that can happen in a relationship as well. And everyone's got some kind of understanding of that. Whether it's first hand or second hand, one of your friends might have experienced it. But people quite often depend so much on each other to be their source of happiness. And it's now the time that as people have been alone, everyone is alone now. I've lived alone for a bit. I don't now, but I used to. And I still make my own cake. I do now. And it was weird to make your own cake. How many of you are comfortable going to a restaurant on your own, ordering a meal? I couldn't do that before. I couldn't do anything on my own. I always felt I needed somebody with me. I'm completely different from that now. I am so independent. I can do either. And it's nice to have a choice. Okay? I used to say, my friends used to say, it's nice to have a hand to hold. And I go, yeah, but the hand you hold can hold you back. That was my saying. And I thought, I'm not being compromised anymore in my life, and I was very steadfast about it. But now I've got the most wonderful person who I have expected to have in my life. I deserve this person. And I am cherished and I am loved unconditionally. Because he isn't my cake, he's my icing. I'm my own cake. As it happens, I've attracted into my life another person who is his own cake. Do you see? Or if you like, go back to the flower pots. 2 individual flowers. Okay? Supporting each other. and we can emotionally breathe. And that's the thing, that is the difference. So, I went back to, I talk about this area, this orange area, which is your sacral area, okay? If you could just think to yourself, sorry, that's all right. If you could just value every single relationship that you've ever had, now some of you here won't be able to do that, then if you could just value, go back in time now and think, who was your first relationship, okay? You can guarantee the very first relationship you had, you probably had massive hormone problems. Or if you didn't, you had some evidence. Guarantee. Go back to your first relationship in your mind. There's got to be something going on in this area that I'm pointing to. Okay? That's all because you had to work through your value while you were with them. Okay? When it went wrong, you probably blamed yourself. Therefore, you're reinforcing that criticism. Do you see what I'm saying? So, if you consider every relationship you've ever had that's gone wrong, even friendships that aren't there in your life now, they're a bit like pairs of shoes. Some of you know about this story already. So you wear these shoes and you think, wow, these are great. And then you find they start to pinch or they fall off or someone nicks them. Relationships are just like that. In my case, someone stole my shoes. But they could have been pinching. Some people have to get divorced because they're no longer being happy in that relationship. They're hurting. The shoes are hurting their feet. You get it? It's a nice analogy because you're really after a pair of Ugg boots. You're after a pair of cosy or slippers. You're after something that's going to make you feel warm and cosy. But quite a lot of the time, they don't last. Okay? Some do, but some shoes don't. When you think back to when I was about 14, I bought myself a great big pair of these great big, they're like platform shoes, huge great things. I'm already 6 foot. And I was like, wow, I was so tall. Can you imagine it? And I was very skinny as a 14-year-old. I looked like a twig. That's a stick. Did you hear that? Yeah, good. Yeah. So there was me in these. I can still remember them. Bright blue they were. I can still see them. Well, I wouldn't wear those now. I wouldn't be attracted to those shoes now. But I must value what I honoured and what I needed at that time. They gave me comfort, they gave me support, well maybe not always comfort, but they were what I wanted at the time, get it? And so every relationship you've had was right for the time you were in. Therefore you must value the shoes. It's really important that you value every relationship you've had. Even if they were really horrible, even if they were abusive, and I've had a lot of that, it's not something that you should be looking bad at. Your choice was for a reason. It was to teach you something. It was to give you value. It was to teach you self-worth, teach you confidence, teach you strength, self-support, whatever it is you need. It taught you, guarantee you've grown from it. At the time you didn't want it. At the time you're thinking, I don't want this pain, but you grow through it, okay? It's like a big pile of manure, and you've got to get in this big pile of manure to get your gifts. There's loads of gifts in there. And you put your best rubber gloves on, metaphorically, and you go into this pile of manure. You pull out a gift. Wow, there's self-worth, and I didn't even know I needed that. And there's confidence. I thought I was all right, but there's confidence. I needed that. I needed to be strong. Maybe it's self-support. The more gifts you get out of that situation that didn't go right, the better and stronger you feel. And the better and stronger you feel, the less likely you're going to attract more of life's manure, okay? If you don't take enough gifts out of that situation, then you'll go around the corner in life and there'll be a bigger pile. And you'll be thinking, not more of that. I've just got rid of a situation like that and I've got a bigger pile of it. That's because we weren't valuing ourselves enough, okay? We were just finding a mirror of ourselves that we hadn't worked on. So the more you work on yourself, the more you give yourself what you need, and okay, identify it. What are you lacking in life? Have a think about it right now. What are you lacking? Are you lacking support? Are you lacking attention? Are you lacking affection? Then give it to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Don't criticise yourself. Don't poke a stick at yourself every day. And see how quickly every relationship improves, especially the one with yourself. If you don't get a job done in the house, you're thinking, oh, I didn't do that right. I was taught to work hard. I was taught to do this and taught to do that. Maybe, I want to be a good person. I want to make sure the standards are high in my life. There's a lot of pressure goes on for us to be perfect. You know, superwomen, if you've got children, superwomen, decorating, doing the whole house. You did so much.
No.
Yeah, I know. You've done amazing. You've all done different things. Positive thinking when you've not been well. It's because you value yourself, that's why you did it. You know?
I didn't do it, Nancy. Your Salted Sunshine did it.
I know, that's coming next on the next session. I'm going to show how people have to
She
become...
did all the work.
Yeah, it's trusting your higher self to do stuff, yeah. But do you know what I've noticed? If people don't value themselves enough, then they don't do any of the homework we talk about. So I've got a little thing saying 3 V's, okay? I value me, I validate me, I very much love me. Now, a few people will know that in this room. It's very simple. I've got leaflets to give you afterwards. If you were to say that to yourself and learn it, I value me, I validate me. Validate is a form of honour. And if you could say I validate me, you're saying that I'm okay. I'm okay as I am. My thoughts are okay. What I achieve is okay. I very much love me. It's something we all need. And it's really important to give it to yourself. There's your cake. There's your cake. Even saying that 3 sentences is enough to change how you feel on the inside, and your body will respond. So this area of your body, the second chakra, the orange area, will be much healthier, and your hormone level will be better, and you'll sleep better as a result, because that's hormones in here. So it's all of those things that will help, and you'll attract better people into your life. Your friends will treat you better. They'll be more in tune with you. You know, you'll find that you just don't attract people who aren't kind to you. Even the shopkeeper will be nicer. You might have noticed it. Some of you have been using the 3 V's already, and I think some of you, hands up, you have, haven't you?
Yeah.
2, 3, 4. 4 people have been doing that already. And it does make a difference. And you might not think it makes a difference. You think it's only a tiny thing. Why should I say that? Especially if it feels awkward to say. You know, how many of you can look into a mirror and say that? I value me, I validate. It's very hard. I didn't bring my mirrors along today because I don't want to make you feel awkward, but I dare you to do it, to look in the mirror. Put a post-it note up in your mirror with the 3 V's. I've got it here. You can take it and put that up there.
We've all got them on there in the cupboard and you'll not see the mirror anymore.
That's okay, you know you look cool. And you don't care because you're not dependent on another person's view of you, right? Just remember, it's whatever anyone thinks, it defines them, not us.
I'm very lucky because I live on a boat and there are some mirrors, but it's so dark. I can't see in the mirror anyway, and that's great.
Brilliant.
No problem at all.
It doesn't matter, does it?
You just used the stick. You just used the stick.
No, I didn't.
No, it's positive. It is positive.
Oh.
So she doesn't care. She doesn't care, yeah. But isn't it fun?
I often don't look in the mirror.
Yeah, because you don't need to.
When I'm at home, because I can't see anything anyway.
Well, I celebrate that with you. I celebrate that. Because it's not a need. And when we want to look at, I mean, I love mirrors in my house to reflect light. But it's the more mirrors you have, the more chance of self-criticism. So that's what you're talking about. And if you have less and you don't care, or you cover them up, you don't get that chance because you don't see you. You know, like the swan looking into the lake. You know, she doesn't see it until become an ugly duckling into a swan. You don't have to look in the mirror and think, how does that bit of hair go, or look at me now compared to 5 years ago. If you just think, it doesn't matter. Or take the John Parkin approach, just say fuck it. Don't care, it's much better.
That's one of the nice things about when you go camping, isn't it? You know, when you go
Yeah.
camping,
Yeah.
and there isn't really a decent mirror to look
No,
at.
you can be scruffy, you don't care.
Can't be much.
You don't have to excuse it in any way.
It doesn't matter then, does it? No, because you see, when we go camping, or we're not with people maybe, or just with one person, we're not feeling exposed. We're feeling it's okay. That's a circumstance we're allowed. But if you were to go to a very posh do and have to dress up, you might be more, meticulous about how you look. You might be more critical. I must have, ladies don't go with that. I must put something else on. But it's being your authentic self that I'm after you being. I want you to just shine in your own light and be your own flower. This is important. I value me, I validate me, I very much love me. It's a very strong and powerful thing to say to your subconscious. Don't forget, it's listening, 97%. And although you won't believe that, some of what you say, your subconscious is going to buy every word. Like a computer doesn't know the difference between the truth and a lie. Your subconscious is buying it. The same if you say, I'm no good at that, I'm rubbish at that. Anyone here must have done that. I used to say I was rubbish at this and no good at that. You catch yourself. And you say, oh, that's not my thing. Or some of you might say, oh, I can't sing, or I'm no good at this. Your subconscious is listening, and it creates more. What have you said?
I can't sing.
I can't sing.
I've not got a singing voice.
But your subconscious is listening to that. Now, whether that's true or not, it's going to make sure you can't. Because it's going to obey everything, like a genie in the sky, basically in the bottle. You are going to believe that on a subconscious level. We might have been told years ago, oh, you're tone deaf. I know a lot of good singers, by the way, who was told that, and they're not. But they believed it. And they were a bit, until they developed that, and that self-worth as well. They developed their voice to project, and they developed themselves, their self-awareness and their self-value. Suddenly, they can sing. And it could be any situation.
We've made our language, haven't we?
Yes.
So like, for instance, we call something painful.
Yeah.
We think it's pain, because we called it pain.
That's
And
right.
we associate pain with pain.
That's
But
right.
we've made that word, we've made that language.
Yeah, we have. Our subconscious is buying every word of it.
Yeah.
And what's it doing? It's going to reinforce it.
Yeah.
And that's the bit we're not aware of generally. So if we've got to listen to what we're saying, if we're saying anything negative at all, even if it's true or you think it's true, it's still doing a very restrictive thing to your body's energy. It's not making you feel good. It's what makes you feel good is going to make you happy. It's going to make the body happy. It's what makes you feel bad that makes it feel otherwise. And then we wonder why. Has anyone got any aches and pains in this room? Yeah?
No, we don't dare, because you...
I would tell you why. Yes, I would. Every area of your body that's got aches and pains in any way is a result of a thought that's caused a feeling, and a feeling's gone to a particular part of your body that I showed you on the diagram.
I think in this case it's the chair though.
You could stand up or anything else, and you think, well, okay, you might blame it. It's a good point you're making. You might blame it on a situation or a condition. Quite often people, I'll give you bad backs for instance, or knees, sciatic, all of that stuff, as a common thing, just as an example. And they think, oh, it's because I've been doing the gardening, I've lifted loads of stuff, or I've walked all day. It isn't. Your body, yes, it becomes a bit of a strain on you, but it's not why you have the pain. If your body's energies are working well and they're expanded to their proper position, you're looking at about a foot away from each chakra. So a bit like a big overcoat. We'll come to that in a minute. Little story for you. But there we are. We have this lovely area where the energy is flowing around us. And this fixes your body all the time. So if you were a runner, for instance, and you had, I don't know, you gradually increased every day to 20 miles, I don't know, extreme amount of running, you would actually find that you'd be all right every day to do that if you were thinking and feeling safe doing that, for instance, you know, feelings of safety, security, courage, those feelings tend to keep this one open, the base. Okay, so you would have a result in this area where your body's main battery would keep renewing and fixing very quickly. If this area was shut, you're going to have a restriction of energy and it can't flow up through the body. It's as simple as that. So when we're feeling less in our relationships, it's this area, the second one. And this will still have an effect on this area. It's still close to here. And you might say, oh, this bad back or knees, whatever, is caused by that. Or willy tummy, or bad digestion, or anything in this area. Look at the area. And if any of you know about what area this is inside, all those organs, you know, you're going to be thinking, well, that's affecting that area. So, for that reason alone, we've got to be sure that we are thinking the right things, okay? And taking responsibility. I'm going to say that louder as she goes out the door for a minute. So, we need to take responsibility for that bad back, for those knees, the pain, the problem, the imbalance, and realise that there is some area of emotion we're not covering to release that energy. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah? Some of you don't know me very well, so you won't know quite where I'm coming from, but each thought has a different area it affects. Okay? And there's a whole bunch of thoughts in different areas in 7 main chakras. So I can definitely help you. If you want to talk to me afterwards about any imbalance you have, I can help you with something that can help to promote energy release in that area to fix. Make sense?
When I was feeling really down, and I was really ill about 2 months ago,
Yeah.
I used your mindfulness tools, Nancy, and I shouted in the mirror at myself, I feel wonderful, I feel great, I don't feel sick, I haven't got a fever, blah, blah, blah. And it went.
Yeah.
A really bad pain I had went.
Mm.
Because I kept telling myself I didn't have a pain.
Your mind is really powerful. Everybody must realise how it is. I mean, people can fix themselves, they can also make themselves sick, can't they?
Yeah,
they can
but
fix
it is
quickly.
really powerful.
And it's just you trusting something that you've not used before. You've not had this tool of the 3 Bs. You don't know about it. Well, you've got 6 now. You've got 3 Bs and 6. And you're going to have another one I'm going to talk about, which is a coat. A protective coat. I don't like to use the word protection very often because on a subconscious level it suggests attack. What I'm trying to do is give you a feeling of respite from people sometimes. If you're going to a family party or Christmas thing or whatever, you know, sometimes they can be a bit draining on a person, especially if they're not used to feeling good about themselves or not measuring up. Do you see? If you're thinking, oh, Aunt so-and-so's going to be done, that person there is always having a go at me, or I feel less than that one over there. I see this a lot in family gatherings, and where they either compare each other, they've got a history of some imbalance or some problem. If you can imagine you have a big coat, okay? So we've got a big coat, okay? It has to be a big coat, and it's going to be imaginary, okay? And it's going to be a black coat, because black is very protective. But we're using this idea as a place for you to develop your self-worth in amongst a crowd of people. Okay? So when you're working with a load of people, and perhaps some of them are new, or you're going into a new environment, or you've got a situation where you're at the comfort zone, okay, and you're thinking, hope I'm okay, you know? So, yeah, just going to recap that for you, my darling. It's just, we're going to imagine that we have a black imaginary coat, okay? This coat is for protection, to give you respite, and to help you in crowd situations, or in a personal situation where you're with somebody who makes you feel uncomfortable. I made this up. All the things I do, I make up. And I made this up. I don't know, yeah, you probably do know that someday. Yeah. I made it up because at the time I had a very bad reaction from a family member, and I was thinking, little Nan was going, ouch, I don't like this feeling. I'm stuck with this person's energy. Ugh, making me feel quite bad. And I won't allow that. So, I mean, obviously the orange juice would mean I needed value. If she wasn't valuing me, I needed quickly to get value. I recognised that my orange juice, as I said earlier, my reaction was something I had to fix quickly. So what was it that little Nan was feeling? Well, she didn't feel valued by this person at all. Right, on goes the coat. So you imagine this black coat, it's imaginary. And you zip it up, and as you're zipping it up, you see the coat has got a lining, and the coat lining is orange. We're going to have an orange lining today. We can have different colours, but for today especially this works. My very first experience with this exercise was an orange lining. Now the reason why I had an orange lining is because if you think of the area where I told you about, this is about value. And as I zipped this coat up in my mind, I said to myself, I value me, I validate me, I very much love me. This coat was strong, it's like armour. It's about a foot away from the body to give it space to breathe. My second chakra would definitely open. And when it opens, it flows. And when it flows out, it's a vibe that goes out through the coat. Yes, I've got protection from how they treat me. Inside that coat, I am safe. I value me, I validate me, I very much love me. It's a vibe that goes through and out to the world. Now, this is the best bit. Because it's going out, everybody feels it, and everybody will value me for doing it. If I was afraid of dogs, and the dog was in here, and I tried to pretend I wasn't, that dog would still know that I was afraid of it. It feels it, right? It feels it. Everybody's had a feeling of it, because their intuition knows. The vibe we give out is what they feel. Well, people feel the vibe. If we don't value ourselves, people feel that. And what do? They don't value you either. And they'll give you an indifference, or they'll give you some negative reaction. And I think that's not fair, I don't deserve that. The orange juice, it means that we are not giving it to ourselves. If that mirror, as a person or situation, is making me feel something of not value, it's me. I've got to value me. This is one of the weakest points I had in my learning. I've had lots and lots of experience, and lots and lots of experiences with lots of different feelings, and lots of areas of my body that would be imbalanced through thought. And what I had to do is address the common weak point of that area of my body, and it's always been this area. So orange has always been something I've had to work on. And so working on it with the 3 V's, up goes the coat, there was me. I was safe, I was feeling pretty good because I love me, I value me and I validate me. I didn't have to justify myself to that person who wasn't giving me any value. And that vibe went out. And automatically it changed. And it changed so quickly, it changed instantly. It was amazing. What gave me the idea is that I was with somebody and then she had to lend me this coat in bad weather and we went for a walk. And it was such a bad day. And this big black coat protected me from the weather. And I thought, I need a coat like this for people. Some people, because they are so dominating or so difficult. Well, you might be tired that day. And you might not have enough strength to deal with it. And it works like magic when you do this coat. Okay? Now I know somebody who she was going to a family gathering and she'd had a huge, big issue with one of the people that were going to be there. And her and her daughter had to go and they were dreading it. All the way in the car they were thinking, oh, it was awful last time, it was so bad and they're going to be at the party and we're not going to enjoy it because of it. I know, we're going to do the 3 V's. And they said it out loud while they were driving. All the way to the party. The trick is, if you say it to yourself, and you say they value you as well, and you say the 3 V's about the person that didn't, it's going to make you laugh because, of course, you know at the moment it isn't true. But if you say they value me, they validate me, they very much love me, or he, she, or whoever, it will feel alien on that consciousness of yours, but the subconscious buys it, and that goes the vibe. By the time the 2 girls got to the party, they walked in and the people we're talking about rushed over to them, threw their arms around and said, it's so nice to see you. Well, they nearly fell over with shock. They couldn't believe the difference. There was no reason why those people would suddenly treat them better. But the vibe they gave out is something that can be felt from quite a way away. As soon as they walked in that room, they felt it. And by the law of attraction, is something else I talk about quite a lot. If they're expecting that or saying it for 17 seconds, and there is some evidence for this, so come to me afterwards if you want that evidence. 17 seconds of locking that thought or that expectation into your mind is enough to make you feel better physically, change the synapses in your mind, and by the law of attraction, it locks it in. And you can let go of that thought. Those girls were doing it for more than 17 seconds. And they were laughing about it, so they're happier. Okay? So they were doing that 17 seconds, and by the time they got there, the universe had already done it. They'd already sorted it for them. As soon as they walked in the door, they could feel the vibe. I dare you to try this against anybody that you've had trouble with. I want you to think about that. And you got everyone in mind? Yeah? Smiling? Smiling? You can smile if it says yes, okay? Good. We've all got someone that's been difficult, or a family member or someone. It's going to happen, isn't it? We grow through change and challenges.
I've got 3 sisters, and we're only a year apart, all of us. I went to a convent and the head nun, Sister Santa Spree, called us little women because we just went down like that. But recently I looked after my mum for years, and after my mum died they are not talking to me, and I don't know why. So I'm going to use that coat.
Absolutely.
Because when the time comes...
When you're in their presence, yeah?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Zip up,
yeah,
and say the 3 V's. And you can also say they do as well, if you want to. That's a seesaw effect. You know, they do, she does, he does, people that do, people that don't. Now your brain is believing you when you say people that don't. And you might say, I don't want them to love me actually. But in actual fact, your heart does. Your heart wants to be accepted. And that's part of us, all of us. We all want to be accepted. That's why we judge ourselves so hard sometimes. because we're trying to fit in and be accepted by everybody. But it's really hard for everybody to get you. They're at different levels. So they can't always understand why you're doing something. That doesn't mean you have to compromise yourself. It means that you shine a brighter light and you own yourself with respect to the person that doesn't. You know? I value them as well. So I've got a lovely exercise for you. You've got paper and pen on the table. You should have at least one paper. I don't know if you've made the notes, but I want you to do this. Paper and pen. I want you to write down 3 things. No one's going to, well actually they are going to say. Okay, 3 things that you like about yourself, okay?
Got to be on the paper or in the book?
It could be either.
You
Could be either.
pass it around anyway.
No, it's easier in the paper for now. You can transfer it later. So if you write 3 things, now please can you make it, at least one, can you make physical? I know that some of you are squirming, going, ooh. I mean, I usually get people, when I'm working with them, I get them to do 20 things they like about themselves. But I'm not going to do that. Just 3, girls, please. 3 things you like about yourself, you value about yourself, okay? And please make one of them physical. Because most people shy off from that. This is really great. You're doing really well. Sometimes it's hard to write that thing down, but you still own it. So some of you have finished already. Fantastic. Well done. Excellent.
I can't think of a third thing.
Okay, can I stop you now, just a second? If all of you can say with me, out loud as you can, see the difference in how much you can write after this. Say with me, I value me.
I value me.
I validate me.
I validate me.
I very much love me.
I very much love me.
Yes, you do. Continue writing, see how easy it is. On a subconscious level, your brain is listening. It's going to find it easy. Think of yourself as your best friend. What do you like about you? If you were your best friend, what do you like? If you think of you as yourself, right, as a best friend, so supposing if you can't find anything you like about you, think, well, if I was me and I was my best friend, what would I like about me? And you can be objective. It's easier for some people to do that. So there's you. We're going to split you over here. What do you like about this person? Well, she's all right at that. She's all right at that. And you can write those things down. So be really honest with yourself and it is humbling. It is very nice to do. It makes your body feel better. If you're struggling with it, just stay with what you've got. If everyone's got 3, that's great. If you haven't got 3, try it again later. After you've done the 3 Bs, okay? Alright? Yeah? So if everyone's done it, that's great, but if not, take the bit of paper away with you later and see if you can add to it. It took me a whole week to do 20 things when I first started doing this. I started off with, I don't know, the first day I probably thought 3 things and that was about it. I couldn't see any more value in you. And as the week went on, I gradually added to it. But I couldn't look at it. No. And after the week, I realised I'd done 20, folded it up, put it away. Now, I might not think that's changed me, but it did. And about a week later, that had digested into my subconscious and created balance in the 2nd chakra. And it made every relationship better, especially the one with me. So I wondered if I could do it again. If I could do it again, I wonder how long it would take me to write that 20 things. It took me 5 minutes, and it's not because I'm big-headed. It's because I valued who I've chosen to be. I valued me for the first time. And it's because I then saw the difference. On a subconscious level, it will work. And then it's healthy. You breathe happiness. You become your own cake. Once you deserve to be, and you will be once you start doing that. So if everyone's got that, can we just play a little game? Have you done it as well? Yeah. Everyone okay? Cool. If we could just hand your paper to the person next to you, or so somebody else reads it to you. And I want you to hand these 2 together, be fine. And I'll do it with you, or one of you. Okay?
Me with honesty.
So has everyone got it? Okay. If you can't read it, just ask that person next to you what it is, okay? Okay. Right, so I want you to, you got it? Okay, so I want you to say, I want you to mirror back, girls. Are you okay up there? Okay, I want you to mirror back to each other, the one who wrote it. I'm going to mirror back to you. I'm going to start with you. Your eyes. I value your eyes. Your loyalty to your friends is lovely, and I love your commitment. Okay? Well done. That's me valuing and mirroring it back. How does it feel to take a compliment? It's not always easy, but I'm going to add it in a minute. That's yours to keep, okay? Oh, sorry. That is yours, isn't it? Yeah. Would you like to do that to each other now? Would you like to please say the opposite, say that person, the person opposite you? How do you feel to have a compliment? Your compliment being read back. It feels weird, doesn't it? It feels weird to have someone else.
It's quite emotional.
You like that? Yes. It feels weird though, doesn't it, to have a compliment come back to you? Oh yes. Doesn't it? Well, but it's already made a difference. Your energies have done this, expanded. You're already acknowledging and hearing it a second time. You've heard it when you've done it, and then you've shared it bravely. It takes a lot of courage to do that because we've never really looked at ourselves for what we value. We're so quick to see what we don't like. You could write 10 things right now about what you don't like. That's not going to help your body. Poisoning your tea, remember? So now we're going to play a little game where I'm going to say to you one thing that I really like about you, okay? And I don't even know you. But it could be anything. It could be physical, it could be a feeling you get from somebody. So I'm going to start with you, number one, okay? And then you can go around to each other, okay? And I'll show you which one's it. And it's going to be wonderful because you're going to love giving it. And that person is going to remember it. And it might be, even in your groups of friends, something you've never really thought you had. Never valued that about yourself. People keep saying to me, I'm a free spirit, I'm inspirational. I didn't know. So I'm going to say to you, I love your gentleness. You have a wonderful gentleness about you. Okay, and I really love that. It's gentle strength, beautiful. You've got to say something nice about Karen. Anything at all.
You're very caring and friendly.
No. That's very good. You said thank you. Well done. That means you own it.
Thank you.
No, it means that you own it. That's all right, darling. It means you own it. I've forgotten about that. It means you own it, darling. Okay? Well done. You go.
I love your compassion.
Oh,
Thank you, Karen.
so you're very compassionate, okay? Now you can say it to Sheila. Talking about her.
I love the very warm feeling you give off.
Thank you. Well done. You've got to do it for Annie.
I love your zest for life.
Yeah, that's actually very true. Annie, would you like to? Yes.
I already know what I have said to you. I love the way you have joined in with your comments to the workshop.
Yeah, she's very good at being with people, isn't she? I know, I love her for that as well. Would you like to see our lady behind you? Lynn, isn't it? Yeah. Sharon, sorry. No. You see, even if you don't know somebody, you get a vibe, right? What's a beautiful vibe you get about this lady?
Yeah, calmness. You're, I find this difficult.
No, you don't. You're subconsciously listening.
I don't find it difficult.
No, it's easy. But just the first impression you get, it's usually a
calmness.
Yeah.
You don't need to be brave to come this evening.
I totally
If you were here on your own for a while waiting for your friends like me, and we walked in and sat down.
And she is calm, isn't she? And very grounded as well. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's nice. Right. Would you like to go on to Lynn? What would you like to say about Lynn?
Well, your passion and sure how to believe in great sense of humour.
And that lovely laugh.
Several measures.
Like you said, mine's double.
Cheers and cheers on you.
What would you like to say about your friend?
Oh, God. I could say to Rachel.
First impressions, what really shines about her that you really like, we value?
She's a great friend.
Oh.
Oh, I'm going to cry.
Yeah. Okay, why is she a good friend? Pick a quality, what is it?
Would you like you to live with her?
You're generous and kind.
Generous and kind.
Yeah, lovely. And you can say thank you.
Thank you. And if I could say something to Lynn about that, I know.
You can if you
I
want
would
to.
say,
You can't. We can do it the other way around.
Lynn keeps trying with people. She doesn't give up on you.
Later, after we finish
Try
the talk,
hard.
you can do the
Try hard.
Wonderful. And you can do this with each other in a minute if you want to just do this after we finish the talk. Feel free while you're having more coffee and tea to look at a person and go, actually, I'm going to give you one of these compliments because that makes you feel good, it makes them feel good, and they'll remember it. So what's your comment?
But you're outgoing and welcoming. I haven't seen you for a long time, and you're asking about my daughter, and you're interested.
Thank you. That's lovely. Well done. Something about me that you see that you...
Actually, I just love your voice and the way you present your talks.
Oh, thank you very much. Little Nan's glowing. Thank you. So now we're going to stand up. I'm going to keep your papers, by the way. Keep them because they're your gift to yourself, and you can add to them. We're going to stand up, and everyone's going to love this bit. People that know me know what's coming. People that don't know me are going to laugh, okay? It doesn't matter where you stand, but anyway, I'll be fine. That's
You're going to
okay.
jump up the wall because I need to
No, you know what we're going to do. Right, so girls, this is our conclusion to our Nan Talk for relationships. You've got your tools, you know what tools you're going to sticks are most important. You've got your 3 V's, you've got your coat, okay? To zip up, to protect yourself from people until you build up that self-worth, yeah? You're going to be your own flower pot. You're going to attract another whole flower pot if that's what you want. Or you'll just be a healthy person that's not codependent, okay? So it's really important. So we're going to stay together as we take a deep breath, and we're going to bring our arms up in a straight line. As we bring our arms up, we say, I value me,
I value me,
I validate me,
I validate me,
I very much love me,
very much love me,
and fuck it! There are two girls that aren't used to this. It's very good for you.
Do it now, but
It releases tension from your mind and body. It's a playful, fun way to release the pressure of life. Let's do it again. Ready? Breathe in. I value me. I validate me. I very much love me. And fuck it. Good. Well done.
Nancy, what about the happy one for the morning? Because that really makes my day.
Okay, well we've been requested to do a happy one for the morning. This is something we can do whenever you want. We do it every day. So this is a 1 to 10 scale. Imagine bringing your energy up to a 10 to start the day, okay? So, go on then. I feel good.
I feel good, I feel good, I feel good, I feel good, I feel great.
Well done, you copied that brilliantly. So let's imagine that dial goes right up to 10 when we get to the top, okay? So we start off slow and we build that up to a yes. This is how she got her